Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going over one of my favorite ways to respond to d4, and that's whenever they try to play like a Queen's Gambit style, we're going to go ahead and play what's called the Nimzo-Indian. That's right, this is a very good opening that pretty much is defeating this setup for white, and black just gets equal games, and well, no one's really getting that many wins against it, so they have to switch their openings up quite a bit. So in this opening, white typically gets a strong center, but black is going to go ahead and give up his bishop pair to get very fast development. So let's get to it, my friends. In this game, I was playing the black side, and I'm playing against a very strong player at rated 2400. They start off with d4. I went knight f6, the master move. I call it the master move because there's many different openings that can still happen here from the black perspective. White played pawn c4 in similar fashion, just trying to expand on the queen side. And here we play pawn to e6. From this move order, we can still play d5 for a regular Queen's Gambit, c5 to try and go into modern Benoni, and you can even play d6 for some other kind of Nimzo-Indians or Indian games just in general. With that being said, knight c3 gets played, and here I'm going to go for it. Bishop to b4, the Nimzo-Indian. In this game, we're typically fighting over this e4 square right here. And, well, my opponent went ahead and played knight to f3. This is known as the three knights variation, which is not really the most challenging variation in my opinion. Black typically gets very good games against this one. And, well, one of the ways that you could try to get an advantage for white is definitely trying to control e4 right away. Because if white can get e4, dare I say e5 in, white will definitely have a great position. And that's one of the beauties of this bishop b4 move. It's trying to get rid of this knight, which is one of the main defenders for the c4 square. That's why you see guys like Capablanca playing queen c2 instead of this knight f3, just to get control over e4 as soon as possible. Alright, let's continue with the game. Here, black castles because, well, we want to get as fast we want to get our pieces into the game as fast as possible, and with 4 moves, how could you be sad here for black? Again, white is okay with this because they have a very strong center here. So it's really up to black to try and create counterplay or destroy white's center. And you'll be seeing me do this in the next few moves. White plays standard, e3, looking like the Rubinstein variation over here. And here we go. We have to strike the center fast. If you lay back too much or let your opponent just keep doing things, you know, they're going to either achieve pawn e4 or just grab this extra space and get a good game out of this. So we have to counterattack as soon as possible. Strike the center. And, well, I like to play this move right here, pawn to d5. Here, d5 is attacking the center, and even saying, well, if you do go ahead and take, you're going to give me a pawn structure that I do like. Bishop d2 got played. Again, not the most challenging move here, but it is a move. And here we go, c5. I love these moves because they're definitely trying to open up the game as soon as possible. The king is still in the center, so we need to act fast. Here we go, d takes on c5 got played. An interesting move. And here I went ahead and played knight to d7. Notice how I'm not too worried if they do take on d5 here, giving me isolated pawn. I love isolated pawn. I love to attack. And opening up the position, again, with the king still in the center, will only give me good chances. a3 got played. It's definitely a move here. You know, this is one of those moves I definitely call lazy just because, you know, you move the bishop here on purpose to trade off for the knight. So here they're actually losing a free move because, well, I was going to take anyway. All right, here we go. Bishop takes on c3. Bishop takes back, and knight takes on c5 here. You can see here I'm definitely looking more toward the center and the queen side counterplay. The king side, as much as I'd like to go for king side attack, is really just not going to be that reliable in this game. And here white was definitely feeling very ambitious and went ahead and played pawn to b4. Definitely not a losing move by any means, but it is definitely expanding very fast with the king still in the center. Well, let's go ahead and move this knight and make a threat. The knight jumps over to e4, attacking the unprotected bishop. Here the bishop went back to b2. And here, well, like I said, you have to make a plan here. Are you going to go king side, center, or queen side? Here, I definitely thought best was to try to go queen side in this position. As much as I'd like to try and open up the center, you can see that white's pieces are doing a very good job by controlling all of these squares. So e5 and d4 are really just not that reliable right now. There was a very interesting move I could have tried here to go for kind of a king side attacking idea. But here I would decide to go and play very solid and go pawn to a5. Again, I'm thinking about queenside counterplay, and that's where my pieces are kind of aimed at anyways. So a5 is trying to make some kind of pawn exchange and weaknesses for me to attack. The move I could have tried here if I wanted to go for kingside counterplay was this knight to g4. And it looks like white is just doing really well here. I'm sorry, it looks like black's doing really well here with an attack because there is no direct way to go ahead and defend the f2 pawn. In fact, if I do get the chance, I might try this again. But white is not without counterplay. Here white could have played queen to d4, putting pressure for checkmate on g7. f6, the best move. And here, well, they say actually just to play bishop e2 here. And you have to be very careful about grabbing this pawn over here on f2. Since even though you can grab the pawn, let's say we take with the f2 pawn, white just goes ahead and castles, and things are getting very, very crazy over here. And with the bishop pair and a lack of development here for black, funny enough, white is definitely in the driver's seat here. All right, back to the game. Like I said, I definitely chose a much safer move here. I just played pawn to a5. The idea is to take and make the b4 pawn weak and also open up the file here for my rook. Again, we got to create counterplay as soon as possible. Here my opponent went ahead and played b5, and this is a move, funny enough, that is very weakening to them. Why? The further the pawns get pushed up forward, the closer my pieces are to attacking them. The first things first, you have to make sure your pieces are developed, make sure that they're going to good squares. Here I went ahead and played queen to e7. This is still one of the top moves in the position, but I guess they don't like this because it's not attacking right away. I like this move because one of my main ideas with queen e7 is to slide my rook over to d8 and of course put pressure on the pawns. I don't think they like this move because of maybe pawn a4 could be a little bit of a weakness later with bishop a3 idea skewering. They can't go a4 right now because queen b4 check, but maybe later on it could be something that you have to worry about. Here white played very good and played bishop over to e2. And here I went ahead and played rook to d8 to develop with a threat. Simple chess, I want to take on c4 here and, well, attack the queen here. Of course, white did not like this and played queen to c2. And here you can definitely see that the pawns are definitely getting a little bit weak, but also the queen is actually not well placed on the c file, as later on my rook will slide over to attack it. A lot of times what happens in the Nimzo-Indian, black is going queenside attack. So here you can see that I'm definitely getting some play with this. The game is roughly equal, but for having two knights, I definitely don't think this is too bad at all. Here I went ahead and played bishop to d7. Some people do like b6 here to try and get the bishop on the long diagonal. I don't like this as much as c6 does become weak here. And there's already ideas of maybe white playing knight e5, knight c6. So simple chess, bishop to d7, and this actually does come with a nice little tactic idea. Here, white goes ahead and castles, so the game is roughly about equal, like I said. And here I develop my last piece with rook ac8, developing with a threat, putting pressure on the c4 pawn. Unfortunately for them, the c4 pawn is looking very weak here, and well, they ended up falling for a tactic very easily. Here they made the mistake of rook f to d1, and unfortunately this just loses the game very fast. It is now black to move. What do you play here? Alright guys, if you haven't already, go and give us that like and subscribe. Remember, liking this video is going to send us more chess players and help grow the channel. Alright, were you able to find out that move? Here, simple chess, we have an idea about winning the pawn over in c4, but also when we developed our rook, we put them in a pin. So we just go ahead and play bishop takes on b5. Now not only do they lose one pawn, but they're going to lose two pawns here, and the position will fall very fast on the queen side. They played pawn to a4. Bishop takes on c4, of course. Bishop takes, rook takes, attacking the queen. The queen jumps over to b3. And now, well, there's only one open file in this game, so we're going to control this all by yourself. Rook over to c8. Bishop over to a3. Not really a great move, but I can understand why they played it. Queen c7, and here white just played a little too fast and made another blunderous move, rook over to b1. It was black to move, simple tactics here. Knight to c3, just forking both of these rooks. So I'm going to win the exchange. I have the open file. The rooks are very strong. The game's going to be over. Here, another blunder. Typically, when there's one blunder, there will be more. Queen takes on b7, and here we just win a full rook here with queen takes, rook takes, and knight takes on d1. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. This was a very basic understanding of how to play against d4 with the Nimzo-Indian playing long-term strategy chess. Remember, you're going to be fighting over this e4 square in the opening. That's the whole idea with the bishop coming to attack the knight. You're going to get very fast development, and you need to try to attack the center as soon as possible. Because if you don't do this, white's just going to go ahead and take that extra space, castle, and then slowly start pushing up the board. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next video.